defensive-minded basketball players.
We are ready to go at Gill Coliseum. The officials are Bruce Hicks, Mark Ayotte, and Kevin Brill. Ball is in the air. Bruins control it. UCLA in the blue, Oregon State in the white. Oregon State swept last weekend in the Bay Area, beaten by a combined 43 points by Stanford, the #1 team in the nation, and California.
Oregon State starts out in a man-to-man. Bruins have some man advantages against this defense because of their size, but can they exploit that?
They do with Ryan Hollins, and Jay John said that's what they did in the second half when they shot 67%. They went inside and scored. And Oregon beats USC. USC playing without Eric Craven. They will be playing without Derek Craven on Saturday here at Oregon State, a game you can watch on Fox Sports Net. But that's a big win for Ernie Kent. And
Ben Howland of UCLA told us that they were going to play a lot of zone against Oregon State. Cal used the zone extremely with a lot of effectiveness this past weekend in the Bay Area against Oregon State. And then it also negates the touches of this guy, David Lucas.
Good defense by UCLA. Ariza slashes to the hoop. He throws it up poorly, and Ryan Hollins is there for the foul. 4-0 Bruins.
Imperative that UCLA get off to a good start here on the road against Oregon State, as much as they've struggled on the road this season.
And the Bruins will see Oregon State get the basketball. There's Ben Howland, the head coach.
Here's Ryan Hollins right here. Nice job back to the basket. Doing a turn to his right shoulder on the right box. Locate and finish.
UCLA stays in that zone. Out top, it's Bozeman and Dejon Thompson.
You want Lamar Hurd to shoot the basketball. He's the one guy you can afford to play soft on. Chris Stevens, on the other hand, is the guy you got to get up to and get him his stuff tight and in a hurry.
They go backdoor to David Lucas, and then they double him, and Ryan Hollins provides the good defense, and then there's a whistle and a foul call.
That's the kind of defensive attention you want to give to David Lucas. You talked about his stats overall, about 17, 18 points a game. That ups to about 19 points a game in the conference. And he's a guy that likes to do his thing quickly, so once he catches, you got to send that second defender there in a hurry.
Jeffers trying to post up inside. He's a 6'9" freshman from Santa Rosa, California.
Oregon State having a tough time, no movement, just kind of everything is side to side, kind of windshield wiper on the outside. Got to get something going inside, penetrate the zone.
Stevens has a wide open look and scores off the left side. Very patient, and that's one of the things that Jay John wanted to see, patience with the offense. They only shot 33% against both Stanford and California.
I like Chris Stevens out of Portland, Oregon. He's got a nice jump shot, nice lift on his jumper. Beautiful head fake, one dribble, averaging about 16 points a game in the conference season for Oregon State.
A steal by David Lucas. Sloppy pass by Ariza.
UCLA has been prone to do that. That's why I say take care of the basketball. One of our keys, you got to be certain. You have to value each and every possession in a game like this.
Lucas got inside, almost walked with it, now almost turns it over, but picked off by Lamar Hurd.
I like the aggressive approach defensively. Lucas and T.J. Cummings, the sons of two former NBA All-Stars, kind of getting into it a little bit.
Lucas misses the 18-footer, and there's Thompson for the rebound.
If you can get Lucas to step out to about 18 as opposed to 13, 14, 15, really cut down on his effectiveness as an offensive player.
Trevor Ariza will go to the foul line, and UCLA be at the foul line for the first time. Oregon State, again last week, losing to Stanford 73-47, were really limited offensively. And now Trevor Ariza, who came off a great game against USC, and then turned around and scored 10 points and grabbed 10 rebounds in their loss to Notre Dame.
Got him off to a good start. UCLA against USC. Started off overtime, scoring the first 5 points. During the course of that game, after he got off to that good start, USC coach Henry Bibby called him over to the sideline and says, "We're going to shut you down. We're going to stop you." Trying to get into the freshman's head. And when everyone played with the same enthusiasm, intensity, and desire to win as Trevor Ariza on this UCLA basketball team, they wouldn't be in the position they're in today.
Well, that's why Ben Howland was concerned. I mean, you look at the numbers last week when they were really spanked by both USC and Notre Dame, particularly Notre Dame because they did drive USC into overtime. But Notre Dame shot 48%, and Marcus hit 12 three-pointers and only turned the ball over 6 times. And that usually equals a passivity on defense.
You got a blown sneaker out there.
Who does it belong to?
Trevor Ariza.
There's DeJon Thompson, makes his first shot. Ariza picks up his shoe as he comes back down the floor and watched it.
And then Hurd takes the ball away from his side as Ariza's putting on his shoe. You go right at that guy with the one shoe.
Well, Kyle Jeffers was rather slow getting into the front court, and he's the guy that Ariza was defending.
They do a nice job of getting something good on penetration by J.S. Nash. You're going 2-3 zone with the express purpose of preventing penetration. You're trying to force Oregon State to knock down some jumpers. J.S. Nash gets inside and makes it happen.
Ariza has his ball slapped into his hands, but the Lucas dunk got the crowd into it. Oregon State is down 4.
OSU Athletics would like to thank Ruby Tuesday.
Here's Bozeman, nice job on the draw and kick.
And J.S. Nash getting it inside to David Lucas, who slams.
It features 6 rotations, including 13th-ranked OSU, 14th-ranked BYU, and 23rd-ranked Michigan State. Grade C location still available. Stop by the main ticket office tomorrow.
Yes, sir. All right.
No problem. UCLA has an 8-4 lead on Oregon State. Steve Biziak, Marcus Johnson at Gill Coliseum in Corvallis. And again, a sloppy pass on the entry by Cedric Bozeman, who is the point guard. And Oregon State picks the basketball off. And Oregon won tonight over USC 75-70. So Oregon takes over that number 5 position in the Pac-10 conference. We have a whistle and a violation away from the basketball. And it looks like it may have gone against T.J. Cummings. That will be his first.
Cummings defending David Lucas. It's been a lot of physical play inside between, again, the two sons of former NBA stars, Terry Cummings and TJ, and of course Maurice Lucas for David Lucas. But they're really battling down in the low box.
Jeffers misses. Ariza, who was defending him, came around the other side. Lucas is down hard and very slow in getting up, and now will limp up the floor, and he is really hurting on that left side.
Best case scenario is some kind of knee in the thigh as opposed to an ankle or a hamstring. And he comes down on the foot of Ryan Hollins and turns that left ankle, but he's a tough kid. He's going to stay on the floor.
Well, you talked about his dad's toughness. Now he's showing you a little toughness.
They're having a hard time cracking that UCLA zone. Did a nice job of J.S. Nash penetrating. That's going to be the key word for Oregon State offensively. Or
J.S. Nash gets it going. Remember, Notre Dame ripped UCLA for 12 three-pointers in their victory last week.
or you got to knock down shots over the top. That's what UCLA is trying to goad you into doing is take a lot of long jumpers and see how they're falling.
Pick and roll by UCLA is denied. Collins getting good post position on Kyle Jeffers. And this might be an offensive foul. It will be against Ryan Hollins.
That's where Ryan Hollins has got to maintain his composure. I mean, there was a lot of contact. Kyle Jeffers did bump him on the initial catch, and then it became a mano-a-mano thing. Here's the initial bump right there, and then watch Hollins, a little bit of a hook, but he just kind of shoved Jeffers out of the way with that left shoulder. And you got to maintain composure out here. The best way to get back at a guy is scoring 2 points to get to the free throw line.
Bruins already with 4 turnovers. That was the first foul on Ryan Hollins. Jim Hansen comes into the game. Comes in for David Lucas. They want to make sure that left leg's all right.
Hansen's a real tough inside player also you got to be aware of, especially on the offensive glass.
Stevens tries to sneak in, shoots over Bozeman short, but it's picked up by Lamar Hurd. Oregon State's much quicker to the basketball than UCLA, and Hansen misses the alley-oop.
That's going to be there for Oregon State. That play was there for David Lucas. Backline defenders for the Bruins in that zone have got to be aware of what's going on behind them.
Yeah, the defensive recognition by UCLA early in this game is not that strong. Looked like they were playing well in the zone, and then they'd lose their vision.
And that's been the problem all season long for UCLA. The 5-0 conference start, then the struggles begin after losses to Arizona, Stanford, and Cal.
Thompson hits his second three of the game, puts UCLA up 4.
The Bruins have had a lot of success here at Oregon State.
UCLA has won the last 4 straight here at Gill Coliseum.
Real comfortable here at Gill, unlike when I played.
How'd you do?
We didn't do too well at all. Lonnie Shelton and that crew really gave us a tough time here.
Jeffers misses. He was pushed from behind, but no foul call.
Oregon State in the man-to-man, but they're also playing extremely soft. They don't respect the outside shooting, obviously. Cedric Bozeman, the Trevor Reason, who's below 30% the three-point line and knocked down some threes.
Fine pass by Bozeman. Poor shot by UCLA as they missed the entire rim. UCLA up by 4. John Thompson has been a big reason for the offensive start.
But he's got to sustain that. I mean, John Thompson has the talent physically to score 20 points almost each and every night. It's just a question of staying with it mentally and being tough mentally and fighting through whatever downturns happen in this game during the course of a ball game. He really gets defeated and down on himself quickly. Now, Oregon State zone defense. They're going to make UCLA knock down some jump shots.
Bruins bringing in Michael Fay and Janelle Rubin. Rubin is a good outside shooter. This is Thompson. This is inside the three-point arc. Oregon State has gone to Sakarakis, an excellent free shooter, and he almost took a shot as soon as he touched it.
He's got that kind of range. That would have been a shot that the coach would not have complained about.
Kenny Hook's also in the game, a 6'7" freshman. And Oregon State cuts it to 2. Sakarakis.
Yeah, I like Angelo Sakarakis. I mean, he really brings offensive intensity to the floor. We had him down against Oregon a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, he came in and knocked down some deep threes. I'm talking like 25, 27, 28 feet.
That'll get UCLA out of that zone. And now it's Oregon State staying in the man defense. That is a J. John staple who played 90% man, he said, during the year. 5th turnover by the Bruins. Hurd misses the jumper. John Thompson rebounds.
John told us about Hurd. I mean, he has a decent looking jump shot. There's another turnover by UCLA, but knowing when to take the shot for Lamar Hurd.
Ben Howland saying, why did you pass the ball to the big man that deep on the floor? Sakarakis getting Oregon State right back in it, down 2 at 11:32. Why did he give it to his big man?
He's the idiot. He doesn't care. I mean, plausible explanation. Michael Fay, of all people.
I know, who can't catch anyway.
I mean, you know, Ryan Hollins, I mean, even that's a bad pass, but I can understand him a little bit better because he can put it on the floor a couple of times. Michael Fay.
We are definitely doing this now. NASCAR. All right. Hey, did you want to show that replay again of Deshaun Thompson throwing to Michael Fay? It was their decision making is just not very good. Okay.
Last play, yeah.
UCLA with an 11-9 lead on Oregon State here in the first half. Our 17 weeks of NASCAR coverage continue on Saturday over on FX with NASCAR Busch Series Racing presented by YJ Stinger, followed by NASCAR Nextel Cup Practice. Sunday, start your day with NASCAR this morning here on Fox Sports Net. Then don't miss NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Racing at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific on Fox. NASCAR continues this weekend across the Fox networks. Oregon State staying in this game because they have shot the ball 6 more times than UCLA, and that's because of the Bruin turnovers. Bruins have 6 turnovers to Oregon State's 1, thus more shot attempts for the Beavers.
And most of those turnovers, if not all, were kind of unforced errors, where it's just bad decisions by the ball handler for UCLA.
Bad pass by Hansen ahead to Cedric Bozeman, and he'll fire it down, and the Bruins go up by 4.
We'll see UCLA do more of that. They rank almost last in the entire Division I in steals. Sagaraka!
It's a Sagaraka Yaka!
Sagaraka Yaka Sakatimi. He's got that kind of range. The Frenchman out of Casa Grande, California, but you got to be aware. No conscience whatsoever anywhere across midcourt. He's looking to pull it.
Down low, Michael Fay, but again, that is a turnover by UCLA because of an offensive foul by Janelle Rubin. Let's see Sakarakis' range.
Little draw and pitch back. Nice job, J.S. Nash, for the setup. Again, as a defender, you're just not aware that he's going to pull it from that kind of range. But this is good defense by UCLA. They got the deflection. They got one of their rare steals. They average just over 4 per game. And that's how you generate easy points at the other end, by playing tough defense. And Ben Holland doesn't like to gamble out of this 2-3 zone. But with the length and the quickness that some of these guys I think it's okay at times.
But a steal by Trevor Ariza. Look who's in the game for UCLA. Brian Morrison, who has been out because of ankle problems, also with a hamstring problem earlier this year. He has not been healthy since the middle of December.
I told him when he pulled that hamstring, it's going to start feeling better, and you want to get back out there early. Be careful. He did, and got another twins and had to sit out longer.
Hansen knocks the ball out of bounds. UCLA will have it with 16 seconds left shot clock.
And Brian Morrison has not shot the ball well. Every couple of games he's been back, but he just brings energy to the floor. He's back home. He's from Seattle. He's kind of back in the Northwest area. I'm just kind of happy to be back on the floor, but they really missed him this year.
Janelle Rubin misses the 3. There's Ariza back up and in. That is his game.
Hustle, effort, hard. I mean, this guy is 6'7", 6'7.5".
Wow, that was deep. That was about 29 feet, Marcus.
Maybe a little too deep. I mean, that was way out there. But look at him. He's out there battling. He's scrappy. Doesn't back down. I mean, I just love his attitude when he comes on the floor.
You know what? He was a catch-and-shoot guy, much like our producer, Kyle Reisling, was a great catch-and-shoot guy. They're from the same hometown, Santa Rosa, California. Petaluma is where Kyle's from, and Sakarakis in the neighborhood. He's actually from Ofreville, France and then transferred in because he wanted to play American basketball. Played a little high school basketball in the Petaluma area and was a shooting star there. Now TSAGARAKIS is taking his talents to the Pac-10. There's Angelo TSAGARAKIS.
You've got to be aware of it. This is where Scouting Report comes in. Didn't see a lot of him the first time these two teams played down in LA, but he has really done a nice job of giving his team a lift offensively when he's been put into the ball game. Stevens, another fine outside shooter. Hurt kind of sometime, and Lucas got to deal with him mainly down in the low box.
Here's Lucas back healthy. Remember, he damaged his left knee on a spill earlier in this game. Here's Ryan Walcott. He's the new point guard, getting it to Morrison. Inside, Trevor Ariza misses the layup. Almost looked like he got in between a dunk or a layup.
That's a problem. He just would have went for the layup. He would have made the basket. He thought about dunking, had the double flex, and didn't have enough oomph in his lift to finish off the dunk. The ball hits the back, the heel of the rim, and comes out. I mean, you've got to finish off those plays. That's a beautiful pass by Morrison to get it to him.
TSAGARAKIS.
Beautiful pick-the-picker action by Oregon State to free up Angelo TSAGARAKIS.
This is the first tie in the game, and TSAGARAKIS is the reason why he leads the team in scoring, and he's come off the bench and only played about 5 minutes. Walcott is the point, and Morrison looks the post. And Hollins can't handle it.
Spacing, close quarter passing has really been a problem for UCLA. I mean, that's a tough pass for the big man to catch, and you're just way too close if you're Brian Morrison to throw him a bounce pass that takes off and bounces around like that. Turnover story, 8-3 UCLA. Again, taking care of the basketball. One of the keys for UCLA. They're not doing it.
The steal by UCLA. Ryan Hollins looking to Rubin, almost throws it away again. Van Halen applauding his team's energy, but sometimes the passing has gone awry. Oregon State coming back because Angelo TSAGARAKIS. Here's UCLA inside. Angelo, take me away.
Let me see the play. Let me see the play. Let me see the play. What can we get? Go back a little further. Let me just see what is it? Yeah, because he sets the first screen. Right. Yeah. It's a pick-the-picker. He's going to set the first screen. I mean, if you get it to, if you started right in there somewhere, when he, I mean, you can start a little forward more when he's kind of right. Okay. He's going to start right there. Yeah, okay, right. He's going to get a screen, set a pick, then he's going to get a pick because his man has got to help off, and then he comes off there. He's going to blah, 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 blah. His man is helping there.
Blah, 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 blah.
All right, okay, all right. Pick the picker. Oh, pick the picker play. And he is. So Casa Grande is the school.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But he's from Petaluma.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
UCLA is tied with Oregon State. Beavers coming back because of the play of Angelo TSAGARAKIS.
And Jay John, the fine Oregon State coach, is going to run a little pick-to-picker. Now watch, as TSAGARAKIS is going to come across the lane to set a screen. Here's the pick. Pick the picker, set the screen here, get the down screen there. His defender's got to help out. Going to allow him to pop off for the opening and the jump shot. There's Rubin. Rubin's got to help. There's the down screen. Rubin a little slow reacting. Wide open jumper. Now that defender whose man is setting the screen has got to be aware and step out against the shooter a little quicker. It was T.J. Cummings who did a poor job of hedging out on screens like that against Notre Dame.
And I think that was your best telestration work of the year.
Which is not saying a whole lot. But thank you anyway.
Here's T.J. Cummings with Ryan Walcott, Ryan Hollins, Dejon Thompson, and Trevor Ariza. That's the UCLA 5.
Still questioning the energy of UCLA. The decision making has been horrendous.
And another turnover, their 9th.
Even their energy. lack of commitment to and understanding that this is a must-win situation. I don't know. You're not gonna have a more difficult time beating the Ducks down in Eugene.
Nice move by David Lucas. He looked like his pop right there.
Yeah, his dad never moved that fluidly from that area. And Maurice Lucas trying to hold in the joy. He's feeling it. He's trying to be cool. Oh my! What a
the 10th turnover by the Bruins, and it's only been in 14 minutes.
Just terrible. I mean, man, terrible decisions by UCLA with the basketball.
Hollins has it stripped on the double by Angelo TSAGARAKIS, but a foul will be called, and it is against TSAGARAKIS.
Watch this move. David Lucas going to go hard left, reverse his field, little fade away, locate the basket. And here's Maurice Lucas, his father, former NBA All-Star. And one thing about Maurice Lucas when he played, he had like the biggest head I think that I'd ever seen.
We are at Gill Coliseum in Corvallis, Oregon. The Beavers lead UCLA by 2 points, 17-15. Trouble at entering the ball, so a timeout is called. Let's check out the Pac-10 Player of the Week, brought to you by Bank of America. It goes to a young man from Seattle, Washington, Brandon Roy.
Mr. Fluid, Mr. Smooth out of Garfield High School in Seattle. He's the guy that thought about going pro right out of high school. Thought better of it. It's a good thing he did. But last week, 15 points, 7 assists, swept Arizona State on the road.
Well, can 3 teams from the Pac-10 make it? Must Washington win the Pac-10 tournament to go? Now, you see their RPI, but how far would it move up if they beat Cal and Stanford this weekend?
I mean, it would improve vastly, but I think the fact that they've been on such a roll recently, and they went down to North Carolina State, they could have won that basketball game. You know, you've got to give them some consideration. They can, you know, obviously, if they can beat Stanford last game of the season at home, which I think they have a good shot to do, I think that's an automatic gets them in.
Thompson hits his 3rd three-pointer of this game, 9 points for the UCLA junior.
UCLA would be leading by much more than 1 if they would just take care of the basketball. They've stayed in this zone defense of 2-3 pretty much the entire first half. Again, Ben Brown saw Cal have a lot of effectiveness against Oregon State with this.
And for those of you just joining us, we are again at Gill Coliseum in Corvallis, Oregon. Pac-10 basketball. Steve Physiak with Marcus Johnson. It's UCLA and Oregon State. A big game for both teams. Oregon State entered this weekend needing at least 1 victory to have an opportunity to extend their season at next week's Pac-10 tournament. Washington State remains 1 game in front of Oregon State in 8th place. The Cougars are playing Stanford tonight. Lamar Hurd hits the jumper. His first field goal of this game.
Hurd has been a terrific defensive player this season for Jay John. He's defended everybody. I mean, Luke Jackson going against Cedric Bozeman now. There might be an offensive foul.
Well, they're calling it against Stevens.
A lot of high elbow swinging by Trevor Ariza. But I guess to get Stevens on the reach for the foul. Here's the defense by Stevens, and you see a lot of contact by either player, but the officials want to keep things under control. That's one of our operative word here this week. Keep it under control, refs.
And I think Ben Howland wants his team to keep that basketball under control. UCLA with 10 first-half turnovers.
They haven't done a very good job of it. And that's not a very good shot. The long three-pointer by the 6'9" T.J. Cummings. It's a freshman hooks.
Hooks trying to post up on Cummings. UCLA going to the man defense.
First time they've played man-to-man this half, changing it up against Oregon State. Especially with no David Lucas on the floor. This is a good time to go to it. Freshman Kenny Hooks will score. Cal Jeffers will score.
Hooks was tied up and turns the ball over.
T.J. Cummings, 0 points in this basketball game. The senior, the guy they rely on for a lot of their leadership. And I say that with that kind of emphasis because he was too good of an offensive player not to have scored. He's going against a freshman, playing him defensively, and still can't get his offensive game off.
And that would be the second straight game that he's played poorly against Oregon State. Only scored 2 points in their win at Pauley Pavilion on 1 of 5 shooting from the floor. And Cummings now 0 for 3.
Cummings benched for the start of the second half because of lackluster defense.
Foul is called against the Bruins with Oregon State leading by 1 with 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. There's T.J. Cummings, the senior from the Chicago area. You know, in one of his first games, he scored, what was it, 25 points against South Carolina. And that, I just wonder if it gave fans great hope and T.J. maybe was a little overconfident. 2 points, 5 rebounds on January 2nd in their victory by 11.
He's had an up and down year. There was a stretch of games there, especially when UCLA was 5-0 in the conference, when he was playing like an all-conference player. He was averaging about 12, 13 points a game, 7 or 8 rebounds a game, had a couple of double-digit rebounding games during that stretch. But this is not, for whatever reason, sustained that kind of an effort.
Don McClain, who's the terrific radio announcer for the UCLA Bruins, was telling me before the game, he said a lot of times if TJ makes his first couple of shots, he's really strong the rest of the game. But if he doesn't, all of a sudden, the confidence fades.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's excuses. I don't like excuses. I mean, you're a senior. You're going to get as many shots as you want. You don't, it's not like you have restrictions on your shot attempts in this offense of Ben Howland's. And for TJ, he relies a little too much on the jump shot. He's got such great athleticism. He's got to get in there and get some offensive rebounds, get to the free throw line a bit more.
Shot clock's at 3. Cummings has to put it up. And he scores as the buzzer sounds.
That's one of those plays where you don't have a lot of time to think. It's a reaction type of a situation, and he makes it happen for UCLA. But they need more of that for him, just to quit the thinking and get out there and play.
You know, speaking of a shooter's confidence, how about Allen Iverson last night, 2 for 21, and he still believes he's going to make the next shot. If you're open, shoot. If you're not, force it. Jim Hansen misses, and Lucas got undercut by a Bruin, and it may have been Trevor Ariza.
It was. Lucas is taking some hard spills out here. We saw him already kind of.
Second foul on Trevor Ariza.
His second, 18th foul. Nathan Lucas at the line for the Beavers.
Lucas is just a guy, man. Lorenzo Romar, coach of the Washington Huskies, says, you know, the only story he can remember anywhere near as remarkable, and maybe a stretch. He talks about Scottie Pippen at Central Arkansas being a team manager his first couple of years, having a late growth spurt, and then turning into one of the top 50 players of all time in basketball history. You know, David Lucas at the stretch, very doubtful he's going to go that far. No, but I mean, just to not play high school. Not to play high school ball, make second team all Pac-10 in high school. But they need, UCLA needs this guy right here, T.J. Cummings. Quit thinking, start the shooting, and good things are happening.
The Oregon. Hey, how's Stanford and Cal doing? Okay, do we have any Stanford and Cal update? Cal should be in the second half. And Stanford was a 7:30 game, so. I think Washington's going to win big. Yeah. Okay. It's Pac-10 basketball presented by Kyocera, UCLA, and Oregon State. Bruins down 3 to the Beavers. And we've got the Pacific Life Pac-10 tournament coming your way next week. It begins Thursday, 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 Pacific. We'll have all 4 quarterfinal games, both semifinal games on Friday. And if the Pac-10 season tournament were to start today, these would be the current matchups. Stanford would play the Cougars. Cal Oregon would be a great matchup, and the same is true with Washington and USC. When you look down, you go, this is going to be one wide open tournament.
I mean, it's a lot of these games that are up for grabs. We talked about that Cal Oregon matchup. SC, you know, they're capable of putting together a terrific game. Oregon State now 1-2-2, full court, soft pressure against UCLA. Really not trying to steal, just kind of give them a different look. Give them a little hesitation as they get into their offense. Oregon State offense small. I mean, they're switching everything. J.S. Nash now guarding T.J. Cummings.
Dejon Thompson misses the 3. He made his first 3 3-pointers, holding at 9 points.
I didn't like that offensive possession because they never looked inside. T.J. Cummings at 6'9" had J.S. Nash defending him. J.S. Nash, there's no way he should be able to do anything defensively against T.J. They went for the early long jumper by Dejon. Now, of course, you say, well, T.J.'s got a smaller man on him. He should be an offensive rebounding threat at least, but he wasn't.
Second foul on T.J. Cummings, sending David Lucas to the free throw line. Lucas with 6 points in this game. He averages 17.5. And here's a guy, Marcus, who was really hot. I mean, he had a 8-game stretch where he's averaging 22.5 points per game. Then Stanford and Cal's defense held him down. Only scored 14 in each of those games, but part of the problem was that David got in early foul trouble. He and Kyle Jeffers had 2 fouls early, came out of the game, and the other teams took off. Well, coming up at the half, the Kyocera halftime show, we take a look at Walt Hauser, Pacific Life Pac-10 tournament preview, and a review of this first half.
That's an indication of how far David Lucas has come. 14 points is a bad game for him now. We're talking about a former walk-on. 2 years here at Oregon State. He's really blossomed and coming to his own. 13, 20-point games this year.
Ariza gets it to go and has a chance for a 3-point play that will end a 12-5 Oregon State run in the last 5 minutes.
You're talking about Mac for scoring. Trevor Ariza, the fine freshman out of Westchester High School in Los Angeles. He has got that. A nice job going to the hole, going right, getting baseline. He just kind of knifes it and trying to set up for an offensive foul, but he has that kind of water theory, the path of least resistance, the ability to get away from the contact and finish off the play.
And it almost appeared, Marcus, that in the first few minutes of the game, Trevor was going too quick for the game. Now he's letting the game come to him.
And freshmen will have a tendency to do that, but you know, I don't mind, and I'm sure the coaching staff, because he comes out and plays hard. I mean, he's going to make mistakes and do things. But there you go. Comes up with a nice play defensively.
And Ariza with the steal.
He's that kind of a player, Ariza. He'll make a couple of bad plays. 4 free throws, shoot him, miss a free throw. He's got the kind of mentality where I got to do something to make it up. I'm coming up with a steal on defense to get my team another possession.
Second foul on Jim Hansen, who is the junior from Atlanta, Georgia, went to Utah Valley Junior College, and a tough guy down in the low post. Lucas will defend Fay. Jay John wanted a double dribble, doesn't get the call. Rubin really denied by Lamar Hurd, and then Rubin tied up inside and stolen by Hansen. The 11th turnover by UCLA.
Careless with the basketball. You double team, you got to grip that baby in a vice.
Strong move by J.S. Nash. He is blocked by Michael Fay.
Nice convergence by Michael Fay inside as J.S. Nash is surrounded by the taller players. That's one area, another area UCLA defensively should be better at blocking shots.
Rubin blocked that shot. Thompson gets it to Bozeman. And Bozeman almost turns it over, but he was slapped in the wrist, knocking the ball out of his hands.
Man, you've got Cedric Bozeman at 6'6", 6'6.5", Dejon Thompson 6'7", and they're playing the 1-2 positions. They played close to 1,200 minutes in conference basketball play. They've got one block between them.
And Ben Howland is also talking about steals.
But one block between them.
Yeah.
You can get a block. You fall into a block out there. Well, it's just that, and the steals, that to me shows just a lack of effort defensively.
Go ahead and dive on the floor. I mean, I was totaling up the number of steals by Cedric Bozeman, and a backcourt player should have a lot of steals.
Yeah.
But you combine the number of steals by T.J. Cummings and Cedric Bozeman, and they have only 16 steals this year. And Marcus, that's in almost 1,500 minutes.
Yeah, that's
1,500 minutes.
And you know, you could say, well, Ben Howland likes to play containment. He doesn't encourage gambling on defense.
Get in a passing lane.
When you're on the floor 33 minutes, you should just be getting in the way of the ball once a game to come up with a steal.
UCLA going back to the zone. Morrison, Bozeman out top.
And Chris Stevens is also a guy for Oregon State. With all the defensive attention, and Lucas is getting inside. Stevens has got to start getting himself going.
Nice double by Janelle Rubin to deny Lucas getting to the hoop. Shot clock and choose. Nash just throws it up wildly. It does touch the rim, but falls into Brian Morrison's hands.
UCLA's played some sound defense. Oregon shooting 33%, 8 for 24 from the field. That zone defense has caused some problems. It's just their inability to take care of the basketball.
Well, remember, UCLA was down 10 at the half at Pauley and won by 11. They are down 3 now. Shot clock at 4. Dejon Thompson getting inside. And it is a 1-point game with 21 seconds remaining in the first half.
Final from Eugene, Oregon.
UCLA shooting 56% from the field in this game. They're holding Oregon State to 33%. Sutton does a nice job finding Dejon kind of slinking on the baseline. That's the one advantage of having a 6'6" point guard, as he can pass over the top of smaller defenders.
Well, this week, ACC Sunday Night Hoops presented by Staples returns when the Virginia Cavaliers take on the Maryland Terrapins. Don't miss our special preview of the NCAA tournament and which ACC teams are ready to do the most damage. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, here on Fox Sports Net. And I know, Marcus, you've been getting ready for that Pac-10 tournament, and you had a chance to visit with Dean Smith recently. A great interview.
To interview Dean Smith for Fox Sports Across America, Fox's magazine show that'll be shown during the Final Four weekend. Yes, he's got a book out called The Carolina Way, and I love what he has to say. He calls his whole approach in North Carolina a philosophy as opposed to a system, and teamwork and selflessness and punishing individuals, showboating. Old school stuff, man. That's good stuff, Steve.
Old school. Your school. Here's J.S. Nash defended by Brian Morrison. They got backdoor, and Lamar Hurd has a chance for a three-point play. That should not happen with 3 seconds left.
How do you fall asleep if you're Michael Fay? The defenders huddling discussing, but it's too late. $1 short, a day late. Right there, I mean, and that was not really Fay's fault. That was Janelle Rubin, the weak side defender on that back line, that allowed her to just kind of sneak in behind him. You put Fay in a bad position. You get the announcers talking about him falling asleep, and it's really Janelle Rubin, Rip Van Winklen.
Bozeman at the buzzer. It will not fall. And Oregon State will take a 4-point lead to halftime here at Gill Coliseum. Angelo TSAGARAKIS leading the way outside. And David Lucas as well. Dejon Thompson, though, keeps UCLA in the game. We'll be back with the Kyocera halftime report. Yeah. You need me back to. Yeah. Pac-10 college basketball on Fox Sports Net is presented by Kyocera, the new value frontier. Brought to you in part by Labatt Blue. Look up, see blue. And by T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service. Oregon State is trying to end a 4-game losing streak at Gill Coliseum. Earlier this year at Pauley Pavilion, UCLA down 10. They scored a season-high 53 points in the second half because of 68% shooting.
Wow. Yeah, that's doing a job. But, I mean, the shooting is not really the problem. They're doing a nice job here in the first half, about 53%. Again, it's just taking care of the basketball. And a lot of those turnovers, the 11 in the first half, are unforced. Oregon State starts out in a matchup zone defense, playing zone positions on the floor, but once an offensive player catches the ball, applying a little bit of pressure on the wings.
Cummings steps out. Now will take a 15-footer and score. Jeffers went right past him when TJ first caught the basketball. And now TJ cuts the lead to 2 at 28-26.
And TJ really wasn't thinking about shooting until Jeffers did on kind of a half fake by TJ Cummings. Jeffers has got to stay down, maintain position, make Cummings shoot the ball off the dribble, if anything.
And the lane Hurd turns it over, but he was fouled prior to. Looks like Cedric Bozeman will get the foul call, and that will be his second personal.
And here's Jeffers right there. Watch him bite on that little, just look at the basket, just kind of an eyebrow flinch. It wasn't really a fake. Stay down, make him put it on the floor. That's not the strength of TJ Cummings' game.
J.S. Nash misses the 3. Lucas somehow got inside the rebound. Seal out by the Bruins, and Oregon State has it again. Here's Nash. They have taken 8 more shots in this game than UCLA has because either their second opportunities or turnovers.
Nice job by David Lucas, working the offensive glass, and once again penetrating the zone defense of UCLA by J.S. Nash. He's the one guy from Oregon State that has done that time and time again.
Trevor Ariza misses the 3. Stevens rebounds. Ariza had the big second half. He's now 2 for 5 in this game.
Back line of the zone. Weak UCLA. Once again, didn't have the right player to finish in Lamar Hurd. If that were David Lucas or Kyle Jeffers, that was an easy 2 points for Oregon State. You can't get so into watching the basketball if you're that back line defender that you forget about the offensive players behind you.
Trust the defense out top once again. They just cut through the UCLA defense. They get a great look, but a poor finish, and now Oregon State will inbound from Lamar Hurd.
Beautiful backdoor pass inside, and Hurd going to the other side on the reverse drive. Just can't finish the play. That's nice movement, nice passing.
Stevens misses. Cummings rebounds.
Stevens would concern me if I were UCLA. He's 1 for 7 now from the field. He's a much better shooter than those numbers indicate.
12th turnover by UCLA. Hurd with a jumper, no, and Bozeman clears it. Collins against David Lucas. Ryan will take the 12-footer and score and cut the lead to 2.
And he's got that kind of ability. If he could just harness that and bring it every night, but he's a nice medium-range jump shooter. Does a good job. He's really improved his back to the basket game in terms of decision-making. Ryan Hollins.
2 long defenders out top of that zone, and 6'6" Bozeman and 6'6", 6'7" Dejon Thompson. Again, they cut through, and it's an easy look for David Lucas. He misses the jump hook, though. UCLA can tie it right here.
Good basketball for UCLA.
TJ Cummings hits outside.
That's good basketball. Up fake by Dejon Thompson. 1 dribble, drawing kick to TJ. Working together offensively. Now defensively, UCLA has got to shore things up on the back line. Oregon State, I think they need something more from Chris Stevens. 1 for 7 from the field, or else J.S. Nash. He's had success penetrating the 2-3 zone of UCLA and causing all types of problems.
Lucas, tough shot, misses short. Tip is knocked out of bounds. We do have a whistle and a foul called against Oregon State, or is it against UCLA?
Watch Dejon Thompson. Going to penetrate here, draw the defender there. Going to kick it out to TJ Cummings for the jump shot. Draw the defense into the paint. TJ just all he's got to do, get the feet set, catch and finish.
Kyle Jeffers just committed his 3rd personal foul. Oregon State starting out very cold in the second half, only 1 of 8 from the floor, as the Bruins now can reclaim the lead, something they have not had since they were up 15-13, and a bad pass by Cummings. What is it called? In football, they call it gap integrity. In basketball, it's got to be just basketball integrity. It's got to value the basketball, and Oregon State goes back up 2. 10 points for Lucas.
Basketball, they call it dumb decisions.
Okay. That's another word for it.
That's the technical name for it. Man, I mean, just carelessness with the basket. I mean, it's not like you're under extreme duress defensively.
Cummings misses. Stevens flies to the hoop. Thompson slipped around behind and knocks the ball out of bounds. Oregon State with a 2-point lead, 15:34 remaining in this basketball game. Oregon State was up by 4 at the break. Now they lead by 2 over UCLA. You want to talk about I was thinking about Oregon State's best game of the year against Arizona, and then coming out with the graphic of home versus road, home road success that Dave built. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Arizona game. Are they really? What is the score, just by the way? Wow.
Early in the second half, Washington State 39, Stanford 33.
Early in the second half.
Exactly.
Well, that's why they want Washington State to lose here.
Oregon State with a 32-30 lead against UCLA. The Beavers 2 weeks ago had their biggest win of the year, the biggest upset, as they knocked off number 14 Arizona. Angelo TSAGARAKIS gave them the lead, and then David Lucas inside. Arizona was stunned 90-84. That was a huge upset, but there's one more that's brewing up in Pullman, Washington. The #1 team in the nation, Stanford, is down to Washington State. And Marcus, when they just announced the score with 14 minutes to go, nobody cheered because they need Washington State to lose. If Oregon State ties with Washington State, they would have the tiebreaker, the Beavers would, because they have beaten them twice this year.
UCLA content to sit back in the zone defense with an emphasis on this guy, David Lucas, who want to surround him with defenders. And they've done a pretty nice job making Lucas work extremely hard for each and every one of his 10 points so far in this game. 3 for 10 from the field for David Lucas. So that's good defense by UCLA. Just take care of the basketball, they'd be in a lot better position than they're in now, down 2.
Bruce Hicks talking with the official scorekeeper to make sure they have the right time on that clock. The shot clock right now reads 35 seconds left. And Jay John wants to make sure, he'd love to have the 35 seconds for his team.
I don't think he's going to get it. Here's Lucas here on the dribble.
Well, it looked like it did touch iron.
Yeah, it did, like it kind of glanced right on the left side of the rim. You saw the ball kind of changed trajectory a little bit.
But they are saying no, it did not touch, because they've changed it from 35 to 22.
Jay John's like, hey, you need glasses, man.
Jay will sit down. Very disciplined throughout this game. His club has played well despite shooting only 36% in the first half.
And the groans from the fans of TSAGARAKIS
took a look from 35 feet
Fakes
out.
like he's going to shoot it, and he can pull it from there, as we've seen.
35? No, I don't think he should. I think Jay John would sit him
Yeah,
down.
I said he can shoot it from there. I didn't say he can make it. He will pull it. He will pull it from there. But now you got to.
David Lucas misses with 2 seconds left in the shot clock.
Got Lucas way outside of his range. With that shot, so another good defensive possession.
Collins was tied up. It is great defense by Oregon State. California, meantime, is playing Washington, and the Huskies are blasting the Golden Bears 70-40. That's a young Golden Bear team against a surging Husky team. If Washington, let's say they sweep this weekend, their RPI is going to go up. They'll have 17 wins. Should they be invited into the tournament?
Yeah, automatically. If they sweep this, they beat Stanford. I mean, that they beat Arizona. They played NC State tough back there. They would have won like something 11 out of 13, 12 out of 14.
And they swept Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, half of that is impressive.
UCLA foul number 21.
But they're a team on an uptick, and the committee looks at that. I mean, you got a Pac-10 team that finishes in second place with their record, the way they finished up. I mean, I think it's a guarantee that they'd be in, regardless of what would happen in the Pac-10 tournament. They beat Cal and Stanford, they are in.
Ryan Walcott comes in for Cedric Bozeman, who just picked up his 3rd foul. DeJon Thompson will take a seat. So this is a limited offensive team. They do bring in Brian Morrison and Ryan Walcott. Too easy on the inbound, and Hansett just lays it in for a 4-point lead.
Total breakdown in the inbounds play. You hate to see that as a coach going to get your zone defense on that inbound play. And for Oregon State to find the seam for the easy layup is inexcusable.
Morrison misses the 3. Lucas grabs the miss.
And Brian Morrison shot that shot with the mentality that, I'm a shooter, I'm going to shoot this. He made up his mind before he realized or recognized if it was a good shot or not.
Stevens misses the 3. Oregon State giving UCLA a chance of it because they're not being able to put down big shots. They have had good looks, but Stevens and Lucas, their 2 stars, have been held down by UCLA's defense.
The best look that UCLA has gotten is when teammates are helping each other. Draw the defense, kick it to a shooter like that play. That's not a bad play by TJ. Put it on the floor, make something happen. Stop trying to do it all yourself.
Ariza gets his miss back. He's got a new shot clock. Let's set the offense. Walcott goes to TJ Cummings. Now Cummings will miss, gets his own miss back. Now it's UCLA taking a page out of Oregon State's book.
TJ Cummings showing some fire, some passion. I like that. And this is the open jump shot. Does a great job chasing down the offensive rebound. Jump stop. Pretty good position inside. I think TJ Cummings and UCLA might have gotten a break on the play. Was the defender? Wow, he looked like he was there. But good effort by TJ nonetheless.
Now Cummings, one of the better foul shooters in the conference at 84%. Drops the first foul shot. We saw him last year have a terrific Pac-10 tournament. He had 18 points in their upset of Arizona and 13 in their next game, a close one that they lost to Oregon. Cummings drops both. 13.5 minutes left in this game at Gill Coliseum.
UCLA's done a pretty solid job on the perimeter people from Oregon State. It's just the back line defenders in the zone where they've had problems.
Stevens makes a 3, his first of the game.
Just as I say that, Chris Stevens springs free for an open 3, reminiscent of the Notre Dame game.
Cummings inside is fouled, and back to the free throw line goes the 6'9" senior.
This is the stretch of the ball game that TJ Cummings has come alive. He did a nice job chasing down his missed shot for the offensive rebound. We talked about this guy too, Chris Stevens, 1 for 7 going into this jumper. And he does a terrific job, great elevation. But TJ Cummings is the kind of offensive player when he is motivated that can carry you for stretches of the game. I won't say for 35 minutes, but he can carry you a good 10 to 12 minute stretch if he will continue to be aggressive.
He's made his last 3 free throws and has scored 7 of his 9 points in the second half. And that maybe Cummings is gaining confidence.
We talked about his free throw shooting 84%, but he shoots under 3 free throws a game in Pac-10 play. And some of that is his positioning offensively. A lot of it, to me, is just lack of aggression when he gets to basketball and kind of disdaining the contact.
He was benched in the second half against Notre Dame for those reasons. Here's Lucas twisting inside and knocking down a Bruin. It's an offensive foul, and that will be personal foul number 1 on David Lucas.
They have thoroughly frustrated David Lucas. That was a nice switch between T.J. Cummings and John Thompson to stop the penetration. Kind of had him stumbling back, going to his right. Commits the offensive foul.
The two top scorers, Lucas and Stevens combined, are only 5 for 20 in this game, and yet Oregon State has to feel good leading by 3.
They've got to feel great, but again, because of UCLA's inability, something we talked about, the keys to the game, handling the basketball, taking care of the ball, valuing the possession. Bruins haven't done it.
Thompson for 3, and that ties the game. It's the 4th three-pointer by Dijon Thompson in this game. TSAGARAKIS against Thompson, and a foul against Ryan Hollins. It's the 3rd foul on Ryan Hollins.
Dijon Thompson, one guy that can shoot over your zone defense. TSAGARAKIS to close out a little too late. He's got a long way to go. He's one to finish, trying to play 2 offensive players out top in Oregon State's zone alignment.
Michael Fay comes back in for the foul play. Ryan Hollins, 3 for Ryan. Hansen on the drive, gets inside Fay and easily sneaks the ball in, and Oregon State has their 2-point lead back.
I like what I've seen of Hansen this season. I mean, he's kind of a garbage guy. Everything's in the paint, everything underneath. It just has kind of a knack.
The steal by Oregon State. Stevens scores out the basket, a chance for 3.
Once again, poor ball handling by UCLA.
Value the basketball. Ariza did not. The result is 2 points for OSU. Ariza frustrated with himself. He lost it. Stevens wound up with it. And the chance for 3 for OSU. That's the 5th turnover on Ariza alone. He'll catch and dribble without even looking. Catch, where's my man, and then dribble. It's just like catch and dribble and okay, but the guy open.
Ariza right here?
Yeah. Just, as soon as he caught it, his head was down. He didn't even see where his teammates were. So Stevens there for him to play. Okay.
They lost. You just lost it on the crossover.
Yeah, you're right.
Hansen. Take his hesitation. Lefty finish. Boom.
Better wouldn't have been ruin the Bruins. Bruins to ruins. That's so gladiator. Oregon State has hit their last 3 field goals after starting the second half. 3 for 13. They've reclaimed their 4-point edge. But here's the turnover by Ariza, Marcus.
Yeah, just poor ball handling, trying to go left to right on the crossovers. Oregon State does a nice job converting as Ryan Hollins with the touch foul against Chris Stevens. And this is a good move by Jim Hansen. A little hesitation, a little lefty finish. 6'6", 235 JC transfer. Hansen does it, all of it inside.
And Chris Stevens will be at the foul line, try and finish his 3-point play. Look what Jay John's team has done at home this year. They're 10-5 at home. They're 1-10 on the road. You see the scoring margin difference. Opponents are shooting 42% here at Gill Coliseum. And anytime Jay John takes his team on the road, opponents shoot 51%. We've got a timeout on the floor. Home sweet home at Gill Coliseum. Jay John wants to keep it that way. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the tractor races. Welcome to the floor, Willie, Mikey, and Casey. They'll be racing on the court.
Willie, Mikey, and
The
Casey.
orange tractor, first person to ride to the opposite baseline.
This must be an agriculture school if they got John Deere's on the court.
They are starting and will be tonight's winner. On your mark, get
You
set.
know what? Thing, that's a great idea. I'll be right back. Bloodied his nose. Where's that kid? Come on, you suck, stupid kid.
Bad Santa. Jeez.
What? Yeah, that's what they're telling me.
Okay.
Come on with us.
Our winner, ladies and gentlemen, has a heartbreaking auto race.
She's gonna sleep.
She may be on the road. Yeah. Dominic Wilkins? Yeah. Okay, all right.
Love is a many splendored thing in the left corner. Beaver fans enjoying a 5-point lead on the Bruins. He was the original high-flying superstar of the NBA until troubles at home brought him crashing back to earth. Beyond the Glory takes you inside the hit world of sports' biggest stars. Dominic Wilkins, Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 9 right here on Fox Sports Net. Marcus, you played against him. He was known as the human highlight film.
We played against him in the playoffs in the early 80s. We beat him, but he dunked on everybody in our team. I had these T-shirts printed up. I got dunked on by Dominic and passed them out on a regular basis during that playoffs.
Did you really?
Oh, man. He double clutches. The good thing about it, I was always guarding him, so he'd always beat me. And I'd be like, help, help. And then Bob Lanier or Harvey Catchings would get facials.
That was the most unkind of four-letter words.
Help, help. Big man, help.
Stanford is down 1 with 9 minutes left in their game with Washington State in Pullman. Again, the Cardinal, one of only 2 unbeatens in college basketball. St. Joseph's is the other. Stevens with a steal. Again, bad pass by UCLA, and Stevens will sink the jumper. And Oregon State has their biggest lead of 7.
And you get the sense now Oregon State, like a shark in the water smelling blood. They have picked up their intensity. UCLA, the confidence kind of waning a bit here. Like, here comes the same old, same old. Here comes another flame out. They've got to, somebody for the Bruins has got to step up and take charge.
Ryan Hollins, Trevor Ariza misses with an air ball. Cummings goes for the save. It is knocked out to Cedric Bozeman. But this is what happens with UCLA. They're easily discouraged, and there's an offensive foul by Cedric Bozeman.
Cedric Bozeman, well scouted by Oregon State. Going to give you that little hesitation going right. He's going to come back to the left. One of his favorite moves with that right arm with the push off against J.S. Nash. Picks up his fourth foul. But Cummings tried to hustle with the save. I like that aspect. They just don't have that one personality, that guy to kind of galvanize, bring it all back together when things start to come apart at the seams.
You cannot win in college basketball without a point guard. And when Cedric Bozeman was recruited, he was supposed to be one of the nation's best. It really never has been. And UCLA will get one next year. A young man by the name of Jordan Farmer from Taft High School. A 9-0 Oregon State run. They have their biggest lead, 46-37, 9 over the Bruins.
TSAGARAKIS showing that I am more than just a one-dimensional shooter. The pride of Petaluma taking it home with the lefty, taking it to the hole against Dijon Thompson. And Ryan Hollins should be a much better shot blocker, but his reaction is always just kind of a split second late. Or a
Bank of America Higher Standard Show, the Associated Press Top 10. There are 2 teams unbeaten. Stanford at 25-0, St. Joe's at 27-0. But remember, Stanford is down 1 with 9 to go in Pullman, Washington. They were down 7. They have cut it to 1. And we're looking at teams like Stanford, St. Joe's. If they go unbeaten, they will be #1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. Who else will be? Will it be Duke? Will it be Kentucky? Will it be Mississippi? Will it be Gonzaga? I mean, Gonzaga only has 2 losses, and they're to the unbeaten teams, Stanford and St. Joe's.
Well, because of their conference, their strength of schedule, their RPI, I don't think it'll be high enough to get them at 1. It may be a 2 if they're lucky, probably more than likely a 3 for Gonzaga.
Dejon Thompson hits his 5th three-pointer of this game and cuts the Oregon State lead to 6.
Dejon Thompson trying to step into that role of the guy to bring him back, to keep him close. I mean, both these teams psychologically, a little sensitive, a little tentative right now. Right now, Oregon State obviously definitely with the upper hand in terms of feeling good about themselves.
And Thompson forces the steal, and I like the move by Ben Howland. He's taken Thompson from the 2-guard spot, put him on the front line, and he's going with a little more athletic, quicker guards in Janelle Rubin and Ryan Walcott.
Smaller, better defensive-minded guards, especially Rubin. He does a nice job. He gives you everything he has in terms of hustle at the defensive end. He's another one of those guys like Ariza. If everyone played with that same kind of energy and effort, everyone wouldn't be in the position they're in right now.
Rubin misses. Cummings tries to rebound it in and fails, and Oregon State comes up with the basketball. Sagarakis, that was from about 28 feet again. He misses the shot. Here's Thompson right side, defended by Stevens. And it's the 6th three-pointer by Dejon Thompson, and that's a career best. He now has 20 points, 6 of 7 from three-point range.
You have to love that about UCLA. That's a very positive sign that they didn't lay down once they got down, looking at a deficit. They kept battling largely behind the shooting of Dejon Thompson. I mean, that's a terrific jump shot right there. Here's a nice job moving the basketball around the perimeter. And as you mentioned, 6 three-pointers. He is on fire and he's feeling it, and his teammates are getting him the basketball.
UCLA needs to win a game to get into this tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, this is a team that started out 9-3, 5-0, first place in the Pac-10, but they easily lose their confidence when faced with any kind of adversity. And here's their situation. They came into this evening's play tied for 5th place. They could finish as high as 4th or be completely knocked out of the Pac-10 tournament. They've got to take on an Oregon team that is mighty tough at Mac Court.
Now, you don't want to have to win at Oregon. I mean, UCLA last year had to beat Washington at home, the final game of the Pac-10 season, to get into the Pac-10 tournament. And they're putting themselves in that position again, especially if they don't come out of here tonight with the W. Win tonight, you're in. Pressure's not off, but it's loosened.
Here's Stevens. 4-3! That's a big shot after UCLA had ripped off 6 straight points. 15 now for Chris.
It slows down the momentum of UCLA. But I love Chris Stevens. The lift he gets on his jump shot. He's a kid averaging 16 points a game in Pac-10 play this year. If there's anything, it's a quiet 16. He's giving it to you.
Walcott got inside and scores and count the basket.
Easy. Sneaking in there. I mean, this is not normally his forte, and you don't want him to make a steady diet out of this kind of basketball, but he kind of weaves his way around a couple of defenders. Nice head fake, gets Lucas off his feet, and finishes off the play. High side. Team Dime, the cousin of Mike Bibby, number 10. That's why Team Dime, 10. They call themselves Team Dime. And Bibby, another cousin, all wear number 10.
I'm so glad you explained that for me. Dime, 10 cents. Both wear number 10. You're the best.
Team Dime.
You're the best friend in the whole world, Marcus. I've learned so much from you this year. I've learned the meaning of yaka.
Get Michael Fade.
Okay, no more elbows.
I'm sharpening it up right now. But Fade right there, I mean, you know, you don't mind that kind of foul against Fade just because you want him to get some confidence, be aggressive. He's another guy that started off with a great first couple of games, and Looked like he was going to be the man in the middle. Took a scratch eye against Loyola and just kind of faded after that. Lost his confidence and playing time.
Here is Oregon State. This game just as important for the Beavers as it is for the Bruins. And Thompson, coming from his forward spot, almost gets the steal, but knocks it out of bounds. The shot clock has just 7 seconds remaining, and there's a timeout on the floor. 7:41 remaining. UCLA down 4 at Oregon State.
Everybody else will call 752.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Sure, I would.
Go away.
How much time's left?
Big bench.
Oh, please, can I have the one that's upside down?
Well, how much time's left in the game? Oh, 5 minutes, okay.
Chris Stevens.
John Thompson for 3.
One time Oregon State had a 9-point lead, but Dijon Thompson has kept UCLA in this game because of his long-distance shooting. Chris Stevens doing it on the defensive end for OSU.
A nice job with the pick and finish after the mishandle by Ariza. For UCLA, Dijon Thompson has been the long ball. And, you know, he is trying to be that guy, trying to step into that void, that leadership void.
Our Kyocera game summary. You see how well UCLA is shot, and they're still down 4 points despite limiting the Beavers to 40% shooting, but it's the turnovers that have killed the Bruins. Thompson, 6 of 7 from three-point range, yet down 4. J.S. Nash scores with 1 second left in the shot clock.
You know, I would say that that's inexcusable. You have one of the better defenders for UCLA in terms of their on-the-ball defense at the guard position in Janelle Rubin, but that's just a nice, tough play by J.S. Nash to get that shot off. The last thing you want to do as a defender is foul him, so you give him a little leeway. Oh,
Walcott has it stripped. 17 turnovers by UCLA.
got that. Oh.
Hansen misses. It's knocked out of bounds. UCLA basketball.
Golden opportunity, but J. John doesn't mind. I mean, you don't come away with it too, but the crowd gets into it. Hansen does a nice job with the steal. He's a very athletic, 6'6", 235-pound player.
Ariza.
That opportunity, that lob opportunity created from good defense. So as a coach, you're not really overreacting to that in a negative way.
Thompson hits again. 22 for Thompson. They have to recognize who's hot. He must see the basketball more. 4 minutes remaining in Pullman, Washington. It's Stanford down 2 to Dick Bennett's Washington State Cougars.
That inside slip against the zone defense that has been there inexplicably all night for Oregon State.
And Kyle Jeffers scores his first 2 points of this game, pushes the lead back to 6.
And you talk about Thompson recognition by UCLA and by himself as a shooter.
Well, they do get the ball low to Cummings.
Right here, good steal by Jeffers right there. You see the guys watching the play with the basketball all the way. Who's Lamar Hurd? Chris Stevens actually with the ball. And then the defender, T.J. Cummings, gets caught underneath, but it's really not his fault. It's Ariza's fault for not allowing himself to be sealed that easily. You got the battle, you got the fight. You just don't sit up there.
Should Ariza have been fronting him?
That's what I mean. You got to fight to get around. Stay between the man and the ball. He just kind of sat back and allowed himself to be screened away from the basket by Jeffers.
Ryan Hollins for the Bruins. David Lucas for the Beavers.
His lack of size and bulk is no excuse. He just laid on the seal, laid on the screen.
Jeffers goes out. David Lucas back in. Jeffers with his 4th personal foul. Cummings with 12 points, and 10 of them have come in the second half. Oregon State with a 4-point lead, 6 minutes and 10 seconds to go.
Here's where you need the defensive stops, obviously. Ryan Walcott on the floor. Pacific Bozeman, who has the 4 fouls from UCLA. And, Oregon State has got their best offensive player, David Lucas, back out there.
Stevens knocks down Walcott. It's a turnover for Oregon State, giving UCLA a chance to close it to 2 or 1.
Here's the play. Walcott's going to slide in front, and then that's a good call. I mean, you see the off arm of Stevens. Yes, Walcott was moving, but you can be moving as long as you got good defensive position. And as an offensive player, you can't clear him out with that off arm.
Hollins is fouled.
Brown getting into it. Players picking up the intensity at both ends of the floor.
That's the 4th foul on Jim Hansett. So Hansett and Jeffers each with 4 fouls. The only Bruin in foul difficulty is Cedric Bozeman with 4 personals.
Ryan Hollins, 1-1.
At the free throw line, Ryan Hollins. He's improved his foul shooting this year. Still just a 57% foul shooter. Misses. Ariza was there, but had it ripped away, and Lamar Hurd winds it with a basketball.
This is the time. This is kind of like David Lucas' time. He really wants to get the basketball. It's 3 for 11, just 12 points so far. It's been a disappointing game. It's kind of redemption time for him if he can finish strong.
He had a great finish in the game against Arizona when they beat the Wildcats 90-84.
Timeout, OSU.
David Lucas also had a terrific game earlier against Washington this year, and they really needed
4
him
minutes remaining.
in desperate
Washington
time.
State 49, Stanford 47.
Remember, we've got the Pacific Life Pac-10 tournament coming up next week. 1 week from today. It begins at 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 on the East Coast. Fox Sports Net will televise all 4 quarterfinal games and both semifinal games. And right now, it would be Stanford #1 meeting Washington State, and the Cougars right now, they are meeting in Pullman, and they lead #1 Stanford by 1 point with 4 minutes to go last time we checked. Arizona would face UCLA, but that could change. Right now, UCLA in the #6 spot because Oregon already beat USC. So stay with us all day next Thursday. Can't wait. Be at the Staples Center. Lamar Hurd is pushed by Ryan Walcott. 2nd foul on Walcott.
That's the kind of play, I mean, it's hard to fault the effort of Ryan Walcott, the activity, but as Coach Wood used to say, never mistake activity for achievement. At that point, when you see that he's going to catch the basketball, you got to back off. It's very elementary, my dear Watson, but you got to, my dear Walcott, but you got to back off.
Maybe it was because he knew that Lamar Hurd was only 53% foul shooting, but no, he makes the first. You know, they're 9 for 9 in their last 3 games. Oregon State was only shooting 53% from the free throw line, and they haven't missed in this game.
I mean, I like this team. I mean, you know, they don't have a lot to show for it in terms of wins, even though they are battling for a spot in the Pac-10 tournament. They've got everybody coming back, some nice recruits in red shirts on the roster, guys coming in.
Restore the history of this program that once was one of the top teams in the nation with Ralph Miller as the head coach. Not only do they get everybody back, Marcus, but they have 2 talented transfers coming in. Jason Fontenette, who started at New Mexico State, and Nick DeWitt's transferring in from Iowa.
And the Mater Dei kid, Marcel Jones, terrific player with a high basketball IQ.
And the redshirt 7'2" Liam Hughes, who is from England. He's on the bench right now. He's a redshirt.
To win this game, UCLA needs to play the kind of defense they played for most of the game, make better decisions offensively. I think David Lucas for Oregon State, you got to find a way, if you can, to get him the ball, even though the Bruins got him sandwiched between Dijon Thompson and TJ Cummings.
We're working the shot clock right now at 17. Hurd gets it to J.S. Nash. Nash backs up and will miss short. Hands it, and Ariza really battling for it on the baseline. It winds up in the hands of DeJohn Thompson. Alley-oop to Hollins, and a push by Lucas.
They get the foul on Lucas inside, but you know, you got a man advantage because Hansett off the floor, 5 Bruins against 4 Beavers coming down. I mean, you're almost lucky. You get a break getting that foul called against David Lucas, because that was a tough pass for Ryan Hollins to handle. You're down if you're UCLA by 5. You got to be careful and sure that you can complete that play.
2:45 left in the game in Pullman. Cougars up 3 with 2:45 left against #1 Stanford. Hollins makes the first.
Dick
they
Bennett
are still in the 1 plus the penalty. The next foul will be the 10, so they'll have the double bonus. But Dick Bennett,
man, would they be fired up in Pullman? They pull this off. What are they, like 0-23 against #1 ranked teams in their history, Washington State?
Hollins makes both foul shots, cuts the lead to 3, nearing the 4-minute mark. Again out top, it's Thompson now back at a guard, and Walcott at the other guard spot in the 2-3 zone.
Bruins doing a nice job. It's kind of shady to David Lucas.
Lucas misses short. He is now 3 for 12 in this game.
That's as open as he has been against the Bruin defense this half.
When we come back, the Bruins can tie it with a 3. 3:59 to go. When am I doing it? Right as soon as we come back?
So do we still do this game?
Yeah, because it's in Southern California.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you told me.
Why would we go? Okay. Oregon State has a 54-51 lead over UCLA. For most of you, except those in Southern California and the Northwest, we're going to take you to Pullman for the end of the Stanford-Washington State game. Beavers with a 54-51 lead over UCLA. Bruins have the basketball. We told you the situation in Pullman, Washington, with the Cougars leading Stanford by just 3 points inside 3 minutes to go. David Lucas, they need his offense, but right now they need his defense even more to stop UCLA. DeJohn Thompson has been very hot, hitting 6 of 7 3-pointers, but they've quieted him the last 3 minutes.
A nice job. DeJohn, the weakness of his game is creating his own shot off the dribble, so they are crowding him when he gets the basketball. Which means somebody else for UCLA's got to step up and hitting the offensive glass. Almost a turnover by Cummings.
Ryan Walcott misses the 3. Walcott's not the guy they wanted to take the shot. He has now made just 1 of 17 of his 3-pointers this year.
Oregon State, I mean, J.S. Nash, he's got a quickness advantage. UCLA in their man-to-man defense.
Lucas misses again. Man, he has had a tough game. He's now 3 for 13.
I'd go to him again. He's just been too good this season. He's been your guy down the stretch. And UCLA in a man-to-man. Maybe a box-to-box screen, something to get him the basketball down low, not that far away from the basket.
Shot clock down to 15. Nash holds the dribble. Here's Nash weaving in, shooting and missing off the right side. Cummings rebounds. Thompson has not touched the ball recently. Here's Hollins in the lane. Down low to Trevor Ariza. It's a 1-point ball game with 2.5 to play.
Let's get away with a 3-second violation. There's a nice play, nice pass by Hollins, but bad defense on the part of Oregon State's back line. We've seen that from UCLA all night. Now it's Oregon State sleeping on the back line. But here's Hollins going to catch inside. He's in the key. He's in the key. Pump fake. He's in the key. Passes off. Ariza reverse layup. I thought the Bruins got a break on that. It's a nice job by Hollins to locate and just kind of leap over 2 defenders. And more importantly, Ariza bailing him out by getting open without the basketball, because Hollins really kind of jumped to shoot him at the last minute. Found out that he didn't really have a clean look at the basket.
Ben Howland talking with his Bruins have fought back from a 9-point deficit to cut it to 1. Pacific Life Pac-10 tournaments coming your way 1 week from today. And here's a look at the standings. Stanford already clinching the Pac-10 regular season championship. They're unbeaten overall, unbeaten in the conference play. Washington number 2. They hammered Cal tonight. Meantime, Stanford is losing to Washington State, and the Cougars up 6 with 1 minute to go.
Wow. I mean, Washington State was the one team you didn't factor into the tiebreakers because you didn't think they could beat both Stanford and Cal.
A huge 3 by Chris Stevens with 2 minutes to go. You know, the Cougars have never beaten a number 1. They are 0 for 23 against number 1 teams.
Chris Stevens again. I mean, he's had a nice second half. He struggled mightily in the first half to find his jump shot. But he's knocked down about 3 or 4 of them here in the second half.
They've got Lamar Hurd defending Dejon Thompson. Here's Hollins. Jump hook will not go. Cummings battles. It's won by Oregon State.
You got T.J. Cummings at 6'9" and Hurt going against J.S. Nash, going against Lamar Hurd inside, and the little guys, the Mises, they just get it on effort. Get the defensive rebound on effort.
J. John loves Mises to pieces. 57-53. Let's take a look at the injury again to T.J. Cummings.
Well, right here you see T.J. Cummings inside. Here comes J.S. Nash on the baseline. And Hurd does a good job. Actually, Chris Stevens does a good job. But T.J. to come down on the foot. It just kind of lands awkwardly and limps to the bench at a very crucial time of the basketball game. And haven't had one all night. So here is a yaga from Chris Stevens out of Portland Madison High School, who elevates as well as anyone in Pac-10 on that jump shot.
14 of his 18 in the second half. Four-point Oregon State lead inside a minute 20 to go. Lucas hard to the hoop. He's fouled by Hollins. Even though he's just hit 3 of 13 shots, he was determined that he would be the man in that low block. That's a good fourth foul. That's
a good aggressive inside pivot there. Baseline dribble drive, and you got a bigger guy with quicker than, better foot speed, and you know you can draw a foul if you go aggressive. David Lucas did just that, and he is a guy that you like to see at the free throw line. 83% in the Pac-10 this season, so he's just had himself. He should be one of the 10 players selected to the all Pac-10 team, if there is any doubt. There was some doubt a couple of weeks ago, but I think he's erased all those doubts with his play the last couple of weeks, all season long, but especially the last couple of weeks.
He's one of the rare players in the conference who is in the top 10 in just about every single category.
Sometimes, you know, when you're on a losing team, you don't get the respect and the votes more than the respect from the other coaches.
Timeout called by Oregon State.
That's it. That's the old cliche, but that's that old wanting it more type of passion that Oregon State is showing right now.
We have seen that throughout this game. This is an example of one team hustling more, and Oregon State has simply out-hustled UCLA in this game.
And the Bruins have helped out their cause by throwing some bad passes, but here's a Chris Stevens who was 1 for 6 in the first half, just 4 total points. Right there, a little behind the back. And that kind of got him going from the outside. That friendly roll, that's all he needed to get one that dropped from the outside. Pure and true Yaka right there with Stevens. And what'd you say, 14 of the 18 of his points tonight in the second half. And then needed in the second half because of David Lucas and how the Bruins have kind of doubled and collapsed on him defensively.
But Stevens has hit his last 5 shots. He was very quiet. He was just 1 for, I think, 8. And he is 5 in his last 5. Let's go back. Last time that Oregon State beat UCLA, it was 1998 at Gill Coliseum. Last time they won at Gill, Josh Steinfeld and then Deandra Tanner. And Oregon State charged the court. They won it 65-63.
I think you did that game, I believe.
We did it.
You were here. Josh Steinfeld, I remember him.
We go back a long way.
Man, too far.
Yeah, that's why the elbow's been coming wild and crazy tonight. Chris Stevens won a second half. Oregon State by 5 with 1:11 to play, and the Beavers have the basketball. 40 seconds left in Pullman. Cougars by 4.
We saw that Cougar team give Arizona everything they can handle. But here UCLA obviously has got to. They need a break, they get it.
Over and back violation by the Beavers.
They pulled Ryan Hollins off of David Lucas, put TJ Cummings, a little bit better defender on the perimeter on the very talented Lucas. But you're looking at a 5-point deficit, 105, but you don't need a 3-pointer. I mean, I think you need something going to the basket. You don't have a lot of time to run some offense.
Well, let's see if they run something for Dejon Thompson. Right now it's for Cummings, but it was well defended by Hansen. And then UCLA throws it away. It was a back violation.
That ball was deflected. I don't know if we had an official. It doesn't look like it. Actually, it's the last touch. Whoever touched it last, whether it was deflected or not, that is the key determining factor. It was the last touch. There's the deflection there. And I think it might have went off of Dejon Thompson as it goes to the backcourt. So that is a good call.
Even if it is touched by a defender, breaks up the offensive play. If it is last touched by an offensive player, it is an over and back violation. Well, this week ACC Sunday Night Hoops presented by Staples returns when the Virginia Cavaliers battle the Maryland Terrapins. Don't miss our special preview of the NCAA tournament and which ACC teams are ready to do the most damage. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Fox Sports Net.
We had several of the fine Pac-10 officials correct me. I did on that play after we did the Oregon game, and I thought that it was possession of the basketball. You had to have possession, but I was informed by Charlie Range and Bill Kennedy and a plethora of zebras.
We had them all coming. Hey, you fellas, you blew it. It's not the NBA rule.
Yep. You always talk about how we blew it. You blew it. Okay, I blew it. I'm sorry.
And the other broadcasters got to shoot 2 technical foul shots because of our mistake.
And the ball back.
Yeah.
But now Chris Stevens can, I won't say ice the game. This is college basketball. He can really help his team's cause by knocking down these two. Again, out of Madison High School, led his team to the playoffs in high school for the first time in like 30 years or something or other. I mean, just a real solid basketball player. Played AAU ball. Brandon Lincoln of Oregon doing all this talking, and he misses the free throw.
Walcott fires it down the floor. Hollins. No.
Man,
J.S. Nash just out-fighting T.J. Cummings for the ball.
And I don't know if that's an indictment on Cummings or a compliment to Nash's tenacity. It's a little bit of both, I believe. But at his size, to be able to just out-tough. There's that word again, out-tough T.J. Cummings inside with that tough defensive rebound and get to the free throw line.
Well, it starts on the defensive end, and Ben Howland has said how UCLA plays is going to take time. But if you really want to win, you be committed and motivated to play good defense.
Well, that toughness, I mean, the Notre Dame players, Chris Thomas talked about the fact that the Bruins were soft. The Notre Dame big people talked about not having the ice down after games against, or after their game against UCLA.
That will change because Howland built Pitt from the inside out, so he put UCLA post players on a regular off-season program, but they're still very, very thin. And Oregon State pulling away now, leading by 7 with 30 seconds left. A huge game for the Beavers as they try and get to the Pac-10 tournament. Our Kyocera camera shot of the day, Chris Stevens. This got him started on his 5 consecutive shots made.
All you need is one of them to go down. A shot of the day, the shot goes down. It's been all good for Chris Stevens and the Oregon State Beavers.
Checking in for the Bruins for Walcott.
Well, I think they've got something going. 17 seconds left, meantime, in Coleman. And Washington State's lead was 6, now is 1.
Hold on there, little fella. Cardinals still there, but now for UCLA, you have to get the quick shot up. Here's the guy that hasn't been able to touch it.
And he has hit his 7th three-pointer in this game. And yet the last 5 minutes, he's barely touched the basketball. And really, Marcus, I think his teammates have not been as determined as they should be to get him the ball.
You're right. And again, it's their responsibility. It's also partly his. He's got to demand the basketball when you're on fire like this. Give Oregon State some credit there. We're aware that he was out. They kept the defender a little bit closer, but as I talked about with Luke Jackson when we did their game against Arizona, sometimes as an offensive player, when you're on, you got to be greedy. Just, hey, get me the ball. I need the ball. When you get the ball.
But you know, you need the teammates. Sometimes you got to go back to the movie Hoosiers and set the picket fence.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy Chitwood's hot out there.
Right. But remember, Jimmy Chitwood also told Coach Norman Dale, "I'll make it." You know, he was aggressive. The coach, "I'll make it." Coach set the play up for somebody else. No, I want to shoot it because I can make that. A little bit too much movie reflection.
You saw the reset. If there is a hell ball situation, it will be UCLA basketball. Jay John checking with the officials as Oregon State holding a 5-point lead with 23.2 seconds left in this game.
I mean, the Bruins, we've been talking about the Pac-10 tournament. I mean, man, they are really putting themselves up against the wall to even get in.
Hey, what with Washington State, if they beat Stanford, and UCLA is swept this weekend by the Oregon schools, they may be one of 2 teams out joining Arizona State.
Good pressure by UCLA. Nice job by Lamar Hurd to run the baseline inbound in the ball, which kind of throws the defense off a little bit because everybody kind of shifts position. The emphasis becomes inbounded on the right side as you're facing the basket to the left side. Lucas does a good job finding the opening and getting to the free throw line.
You know, it's amazing, despite Oregon State only shooting 40% in this game, and Dejon Thompson tying a Gill Coliseum record with 7 three-pointers on 8 attempts, UCLA is down by 6 points. Remarkable numbers.
And you know, you point to the one stat that the turnovers for UCLA, particularly in the first half,
18 over 11.
Give the team more possessions. Wow. Oh.
That was way out, and he shoots an air ball. And Oregon State looks to win, but a steal by Ariza. He misses his layup.
Who was that? J.S. Dash again.
Rebounds, and Oregon State will win. How about this? Oregon State entered this weekend needing at least 1 victory. Let's check out the finish at Pullman, Washington. This is Stanford. Matt Loddick will fire a wild shot and score to win the game. And Stanford remains unbeaten. Unbelievable. They did it to Arizona. They've done it again tonight to Washington State. And the fans behind us, Marcus, are cheering because they know the situation.
Oh, man, I'm cheering.
They know that if
they watched it with us,
Washington State ties Oregon State, that the Beavers will go to the Pac-10 tournament because Oregon State beat Washington State twice. How about this? Dick Robinson one time and Matt Loddick. Oh my gosh,
it's a charmed existence right there. There's Dick Robinson with the basketball. He's like, I've done it once. Here, Matt, you take the game winner this time. Yeah! There's nothing but the bottom of the net at the buzzer.
Well, it's over here, and UCLA has a long way to go if they're to make it to the tournament. But it's a step closer for J. John. Stevens with a remarkable ending. That's it from Corvallis. Oregon State wins. Make sure to tune in Thursday for the Pacific Live Pac-10 tournament. Quarterfinal action begins at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Check your local listings for Marcus Johnson. I'm Steve Physiak saying so long, everyone. Thanks for watching exclusive coverage of Pac-10 basketball on Fox Sports Net. Congratulations, good game.